Successful people learn how to make their mind work for them. I'm David Nagel, and this is the Successful Mind Podcast.
The desire to succeed is proof that you can. So let's talk about this a little bit. There's a couple of things that I think will be beneficial. There's two things that I have seen over and over again for 2 decades now that seem to show up when a person is struggling or they fail. One is to understand that when doubt creeps into your mind, doubt attacks what you're thinking about. So in other words, if I'm working, if I have a vision, I got goals, I got a plan, I'm trying to keep a positive mindset, going after it, something happens in my life. Now, doubt can come one way or it can come in a million ways, right? It's very suggestible depending on what we're experiencing. But the second doubt cracks into our mind, it's like a virus, but it attacks what you're thinking. When it attacks what you're thinking, it changes how you're thinking about it. So doubt has a strategy, believe it or not. It attacks what you're thinking and it changes how you're thinking about it. So you have to be very aware of the process that's actually happening, because if you're not aware of it, what is actually going on? We become, like we get so immersed, we become what we're thinking about. We actually start to believe it. We get like emotionally entrenched in it. I always say it's like the difference between looking from the inside out or the outside in. Think about if you were coaching someone and you watched them become doubtful, you'd be watching it from the outside in. You'd see it from somebody else. You wouldn't be sucked into whatever their drama is, but you would sure see it happen. You'd watch it. And you could actually coach them and say, listen, how did this start? What was the first thing that caused doubt in your mind? And you could help walk that person out of what's actually taking place. But when we're looking at it from the inside out, the danger is that we get so sucked into the drama, we can't see the lie. We can't see the non-truth. So remember, doubt attacks the what and changes the how. So we want to keep the doubt away. Now, here's another piece that's very important. And it'll give you a little exercise to do. And that is, we're programmed from little kids about this one idea. When do we get to stop doing the thing we don't like? You spent the better part of the first 20 years of your life in a constant learning mode. And for the average individual, once they become an adult, that learning drops off enormously. And then over the years, it gets smaller till it's almost non-existent. The statistics about people that read nonfiction books, adults that read nonfiction books, it's horrific. Like it's amazing nonfiction can even exist, because so many people just don't ever read again after they leave high school or college. So as we were growing up, we had to do all these different things. We're constantly being stretched. We're constantly growing. And we always looked forward to, when were we going to be off? When is the end of the week? When is the end of the day? When do we go on spring break? When do we go on summer vacation? When's the holiday? So we're programmed with this, and we see it with adults. That's why they have hump day. That's why they have thank God it's Friday. They're measuring psychologically their process through a week of basically stuff that they don't enjoy. So our mind is programmed to start looking for the day off. But when we're looking for the day off, we set up a whole scenario that is just so unhealthy for ourselves. It's crazy. Think about it like this. If you've ever talked to a Navy SEAL or ever listened to one of those individuals talk about the training, The training is 6 months long. They don't think to themselves, all I have to do is make it another 6 months. They would never make it. They literally break it down to the minute. They're in 57-degree water. They've been in it for an hour. They're carrying a log on their chest. They're virtually hypothermic. They're thinking 60 more seconds, 30 more seconds. I only have to make it 30 more seconds, 60 more seconds. So they break it down psychologically so that the mind can handle the discomfort. There's a trick that not only is it a trick, but I think it's one of the healthiest things that we could do is to go into your calendar for the next year and plan all of your time off. Put your vacation time down now. If you want extended weekends somewhere, put that down now. If you want a day off after a specific health or hard work week or something, put that down now. Put it in there so that because now once you put it in there, your mind knows where the time off is. One of the worst things that entrepreneurs do is they work and don't stop. And then they start to get resentful. And then when they do take time off, they feel guilty. How many people have worked for somebody when you had a job, and even if you had time coming to you, you took it off and they made you feel guilty as hell, like you were robbing the company of something, right? I mean, it was horrific when they did that. Yeah, going on vacation next week. Okay. There was this company that I didn't work for the company, but we used to service them because they were a client. And the dispatcher was this woman, and these guys would be on the road driving a truck 12, 14 hours a day. And they would come in and she would give them their start time in the morning. And it was usually short, like they didn't have a whole lot of time off. And she would always say, sleep fast, just let's keep the stress button, pushed. But if we take time off, if we know when the time off is, now we're really living our life, consciously living our life. Here's my time off. Here's my vacation. Here's my holiday, whatever it is that you want to do, and then start planning those things. Don't wait till the last minute. If you're going to take a trip, book the trip, put a deposit down, start getting the tickets. Really get involved in your own living beyond work. It makes an enormous difference, and it makes life so much fun. And you removed the psychological weight of when is the time off. Now, why is that important in relation to the doubt? Because the more things that you do that fatigue your mind, the easier it is for doubt to come in. If you know you're going to have time off, you're not fatiguing your mind nearly as much as if you don't know and you're always wondering why or when. Here's another thing that I think it's pretty important. If you apply this to other areas of your business, like Steph she has a marketing calendar for the entire year where she knows all the different marketing campaigns, when they're going to happen, when they're going to start, when they're going to end. It's all laid out. Everything is laid out. There's no guesswork. It's all planned, right? We know exactly what we're doing and when it is that we're doing it. Brandon has our podcast calendar. He's the director of our podcasts. Everything is planned. Everything is planned. It's planned when I have to create the content, for what day we're going to be in the studio to do it. Then he's got editing schedules, and it goes to our media guys. Like, everything is planned out. So there's no when is this going to happen? It's all there. That means that you spend your time doing the most productive thing that you can, which is being as great as you can be in what you do. But you don't have that weight. Now, if you have to deal with doubt, it's about different things and your mind is not fatigued so that you can handle different things. Like if something breaks or something's not working or there's an upset with something, you can easily have more energy to go in and fix things from a creative place, not from a place of desperation. There's nothing worse than when you're exhausted, you're working like crazy, you're not giving yourself any time off, You're still in that phase of your business where you're like, where's the bill money going to come from? I need to make 5 more sales or we're going to be in trouble. And then with all that, something else goes wrong that you have to take care of. That it's a must. You have to do it. I mean, you can get resentful of your business really quick. Now, there'll always be things that are out of your control. But what we're talking about are things that you have the ability to control. So why not control what you have the ability to control in a way that gives you the most power? Okay? Now, one last thing before I let you go here. Not only do you have this in your calendar and in your mind, but also in the fabric of your ability to succeed. So I've got Working with the Law here. I'm going to just read you something really quick. It's in the chapter, that's the last chapter, The Law of Success. And he says, the fact that you desire to succeed is evidence that you have the power to succeed. The fact that you desire to succeed is evidence that you have the power to succeed. Now, one of the biggest problems with individuals living their dreams is this silly idea that they have in their mind that they can't, or they might not be able to, or they're not good enough, or when will they ever get there? But they're not looking at the evidence that the great architect of the universe gave us to show us that we have everything that we need to succeed. He says here, the fact that you desire to succeed is evidence that you have the power to succeed. Otherwise, you would not have been urged to aspire successward. You cannot aspire to succeed unless you have the power to succeed. Desire creates the power. Power inspires the mind of the individual, and success is the result of that inspiration rightly applied. So all of it is there. It's like a roadmap. But one of the things that'll screw up desire faster than anything is doubt. Because doubt will turn the desire into depression. It'll turn the desire into fatigue. It'll turn the desire into you don't think that you can. It'll turn desire into think that you're never going to get there. So we have to keep our mind free of doubt. Realize that everything that we need, our will, our persistence, our imagination, our creativity, our ability to think, our ability to act and move forward and plan is all there so that we can succeed. It's not a joke that we're created with this. Animals don't have the ability to see their future. Only people do. A dog doesn't think about what it's going to do 2 weeks from now, but human beings have that ability. Why do we have the ability to see our future? Because we have the ability to create it. That means you have the ability to succeed. It's already in you. You were born with it.
Thanks for listening to the Successful Mind podcast. And if you like what you heard and you want to know more, go to davidnagel.com/free stuff.